us a little bit about your role as the VP of Innovation.
Yeah, so as a VP of Innovation, I've been with Wana for 10 years now. My role encompasses a pretty wide and exciting variety of topics together: cannabis, cannabinoids, and other components that make up our awesome products. We spent years working with different technology companies to find fast-acting technologies that could help encapsulate these fatty molecules, help them be absorbed into our watery bodies, help bypass things like our liver metabolism, and actually slip between the cells of our mucous membranes to get into the bloodstream faster, bringing down that onset time so that many people will start to feel effects in 5 to 15 minutes, which is what people like Beverages for. So social experiences, uplifting experiences, and times when you just want to relax with friends. And so we're pairing great flavors with great formulations in this new product form that's really delivering cannabis in a way that's sessionable.
Hi, Mike. It's so great to have you here today on Recipe to Revenue. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Leah. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. So I am so excited for you to tell your story today and to tell us about what you do at Wana Brands and how you lead innovation there. So why don't we start with that? Why don't you just tell us a little bit about your role as the VP of Innovation?
Yeah, so as the VP of Innovation, I've been with Wana for 10 years now. My role encompasses a pretty wide and exciting variety of topics. It leads all of our new product development. And so the team that's in our lab and in our kitchen, formulating our recipes, putting together cannabis, cannabinoids, and other components that make up our awesome products. It also covers a lot of the education that we try and put out. Obviously, cannabis is new to so many people. I'm sure a lot of the listeners here, cannabis is very new to them. So we try and put out a lot of blog posts, scientifically led information to help people understand the different components of cannabis, from THC, CBD, to other cannabinoids people might not have heard of, like CBG and CBN, as well as things like terpenes, the scent molecules in this plant and other plants. So we run a lot of our education. We have a really fun role of working with research institutions, both academic institutions and contract organizations, that can help us actually study our products and study components of the plant to help us validate effects, looking at how our products are working, conducting focus groups and sensory evaluations in order to test and validate our products.
Oh, neat. So are you involved in the education side, the research side as well, and bringing that back to the office to figure out what products to roll out?
Yes, exactly.
Fantastic.
I work with a network of researchers. I'm connected with several groups, especially here in Colorado, CSU, Johns Hopkins Cannabis Research Lab. Recently, I was also appointed to Colorado's Institute of Cannabis Research, so I'm a member of the governing board.
Congratulations. How exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
So is your background on the science side or the business side or somewhere else?
My background spans both. My original undergrad degree was actually environmental science, but my career really got started right after I graduated. I moved to Colorado in 2012. I'd gone to the University of Maryland, graduated there, and I'd had a roommate in college with epilepsy, which let me really see. I'm sure you've heard about GW pharmas and how efficacious it is for specific types of epilepsy. Well, my roommate didn't have either of those, Dravet syndrome, but I did see how much cannabis changed his life. He would either have seizures without cannabis, or he would be completely seizure-free with cannabis. And it was a really eye-opening moment for me personally. Got me really motivated to want to get involved in the medical cannabis industry that is just
really at its birth at that point in time.
I was fortunate enough to find myself at Wana shortly thereafter, and was reporting directly to our founder and co-founder and CEO, Nancy White. We started in sales, so kind of started on the business side of this. I was a sales rep, eventually became the sales manager. Really saw the early days and explosive growth of the industry in Colorado in 13, 14, 15. Eventually was the sales manager as we were moving into new states. And that's where the business and science, in my mind, started to diverge in a way that I wasn't personally that interested. I didn't want to following this sales trajectory that I was on.
Okay.
I had always been a more science-minded individual, communicated that with Nancy, and she had been formulating this idea in her head that we really needed to be a more science-driven business.
Yeah.
The early days were taking the plant and putting it into all kinds of different edibles. The future was going to be better understanding the plant, better understanding formulations, and creating better products for consumers. And we helped me create a new role, which is eventually evolved into this R&D piece.
Yeah, how exciting. So I'm going to jump ahead because you're mentioning something that I wanted to ask you about. So I read an article, maybe you're already doing this, but maybe it's something that's coming down the pipeline, that you're looking at different, conditions or things that your products can actually specifically address. Is that something that, is in your area that you're looking to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want, I can kind of talk about how we did that years ago and how that's evolved and what we're doing now.
Yeah, tell us the story.
So as I moved into away from sales, we hired a new great sales manager and chief revenue officer, and I took on the new role of leading an R&D team. At this time, we were moving away from crude extracts. Again, the early days of the industry were crude extracts. Some of our competitors were spraying THC onto edibles. We had always been formulating our own recipe. We worked with groups and trialed 30 different types of pectin to come up with our gummy recipe, made our own. We're infusing them into products. We're getting them tested before it was even required here by the state for potency, homogeneity, and the full panel testing. And we wanted to make a pivot from crude extracts to distillate. But to your point about effect specific, many of your listeners probably have heard indica sativa hybrid, indica.
Sure. Yeah.
The more sedating one, sativas are more energizing.
Right.
The truth is, in the plant, growers during the illegal time in black markets have been hybridizing plants for decades and decades. And there's not a lot of traditional indica sativa hybrid plants. There's many, many hybrids. You can still find some true indicas and true sativas. We get a question, when you move to a distillate, which tastes much better in edible, you're stripping away many of the other components of the extract. Fruit extract has all the compounds, the full spectrum of molecules, including the ones you don't want, like chlorophyll, that discolor and distaste the product. But we wanted to offer an indica type, a sativa type, and a hybrid type product. So we did some thinking and came up with an idea to actually travel to dispensaries. We went to over 30 different stores and went to the bartenders and said, give us your truest sativa strain and your truest, just all these products, and brought them back to a very special piece of equipment. It's actually oftentimes used in the fragrance industry. Some people may be familiar with a GC, gas chromatography, and a mass spec.
Sure.
So we used a GC mass spec, and we actually ran it through 2 columns, so 2 different columns for separation, and we were able to create a 3D chromatogram of all of these different strains. We're able to net out and see what were the similar profiles of the best sativas these different dispensaries are. What we're doing is creating Wana's own proprietary terpene formulations mimicked after the best sativas in the market, the best indicas in the market, the best hybrids in the market, allowing us from an early stage to offer very consistent effects in all of these different markets, because we could take the same consistent profile. So instead of using a crude extract where the grower is growing a batch and it's a little bit different every time, the effects are much more unpredictable, we could create very consistent effects with these terpene profiles. And so that was sort of like step one in getting to use case specific. Let's standardize our terpenes around this distillate.
Yeah.
As the industry has evolved, supply chains have evolved, growers have evolved. What's really unlocked is the ability to use not just THC with terpenes, but to begin formulating with things like CBD. CBD is great because it's what's called a negative allosteric modulator. And that's a pharmacology term to say that it changes the way that THC binds to your CB1. And what it's doing is it's actually modulating in a way that reduces the negative side effects like anxiety that can come up when we consume too much THC. So CBD has become really important. Other minor cannabinoids like CBG can increase levels of GABA in the brain, can really help with a more social high, a less anxious high. So we've been able to use CBG in that way. CBN has been shown to help people sleep through the night better, have less awakenings. We also look at other minor cannabinoids in formulating with CBC and THCV. Now, it sounds like THC. THCV is somewhat the opposite. It's not intoxicating, and it's actually more energizing, putting you more in a present moment in your high. People often describe THC as making them feel very spacey or out of it, or not wanting to be social.
Right.
THCV actually sort of puts the receptor in a different orientation than THC does, having rather opposite effects, bringing you more present into the moment, a little bit more social, energize and uplift. So we've been able to formulate these cannabinoids based off of research that's out there coming from academic institutions, as well as doing our own research, focused sensory evaluations. We'll see what's going on in published research, sourcing those products, formulate them to how we think the research is telling us where to go, create products, and then create focus groups to give us feedback. from there, it's an iterative process to say, well, we got the energizing effect, but people were really anxious. So maybe we need to tone down THCV and bring in some CBG.
Yeah. So it sounds like, Wana's really taking that scientific approach in their product development to find, where there is needs in the market. Is that accurate to say?
Absolutely. It's been a very science-driven process, but as the market has continued to evolve, we're having more opportunities to identify new demographics. And new targets, and starting to match things like sleep, anxiety, pain, energy, formulating products for those.
Which are huge issues that, get a lot of media attention now, especially things like anxiety and sleep, which probably are the two things I hear most people using your type of products for to assist them with those things now. So
yeah, there's a wonderful overlap here where there are two of the things cannabis is best at helping us with, and they're two of the most important really issues that come up for many, many people. The number of people affected by sleeplessness or anxiety is huge here. And so having an all-natural plant that can help us with that's huge. So those have been formulated into what we call Wana Optimals. So really trying to optimize the plant, optimize the formulations to help optimize your life.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Last night in a group chat with my siblings, I have two brothers and a sister, we were talking about how our nutrition, our stress, our sleep are all the issues that, are sort of systemic in our society now. Just everybody is affected by one of these things, and which has then affected our attention spans. So my brother was talking about a book about deep thinking and how we're, as a society, not able to do any deep thinking anymore because of all these external components. So, that I'm sure, some of your products can help at least put the mind at rest and then ease the anxiety so that you can be more productive in your day-to-day, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Exactly. And I think that's another important area to focus on is easing a racing mind and helping to just become more focused on the task at hand. And sometimes it doesn't require high THC for those products. Early days, it was all about people using it recreationally or for sleep, but generally they were high THC products. But if you want to be more focused, THC often isn't what you need. Help unlock your cannabinoid system, but products like our only using 1 milligram of THC, so they're not designed to be intoxicating. So it's a pretty unique formulation that focuses on the other minor cannabinoids like CBD and CBG that can help free us down and help calm a racing mind so that we can think more clearly, more focused. It goes great with a cup of coffee to get the boost of energy, but not that jitteriness.
Yep, I know what that jitteriness can do. So talk a little bit about, I love everything you're saying about how the innovation where it kind of has grown throughout the company from, but talk about kind of the culture at Wana, like how this became important, how it's kind of fostered the creativity that has come through the product line.
Wana is a unique company. We are one of the OG cannabis companies. I've been here for 10 years. We have employees that have been around even longer than I have. And there's many of us. So there's this really fortunate thing where the culture has been so good that they've been able to retain this talent and help us grow together with the business to help create Wana.
That's special.
It really is special that there is this sort of heritage and lineage within Wana. And the culture has always been around doing right by the plant, really showcasing the plant, showcasing what it can offer, helping to educate people on that, creating the best products. And what that's done is it's attracted really great talent that shares our values and beliefs about the plant. So in everything that we do, whether it be on my team's formulation end to the way that we're marketing and educating about our products, to the way that we're selling our products and how we're manufacturing products, all of that is imbued throughout all of our team members. And really a collective thing that we share about how to do things well, it's right, and letting the plant really lead our beliefs and values and what it can offer.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, when you can have the culture of a company be as strong as it is, then everything else kind of falls into place, and your marketing message becomes stronger because everybody has such a belief in it, and word of mouth becomes stronger because everybody's then sharing. They're on the same page about the company and your beliefs and the benefits of the product. So I think that is really shown in the success of the business and just how widely known that your products have become over the years. I also read that you're expanding into New York. Finally, I saw an article recently about that. So congratulations. Big market.
Yeah, the whole Northeast expansion's been exciting. Massachusetts, New Jersey, and now finally New York, one of the biggest markets there. Really excited about that launch. Getting everybody trained there, getting partners and bartenders trained, really excited about the product offerings we're going to be bringing there.
Yeah.
What's great when we come into new markets is we can oftentimes take everything we've learned from other markets and be able to apply it, really level up what consumers are finding on shelves. So things have been innovations over the past here in Colorado, we get to bring straight to market in New York. So things like fast-acting edibles, that's one of the things people often talk about with edibles, that they take 60 minutes or more before you feel them. We spent years working with different technology companies to find fast-acting technologies that can help encapsulate these fatty molecules, help them be absorbed into our watery bodies, help bypass things like our liver metabolism, and to slip between the cells of our mucous membranes to get into the bloodstream faster, bringing down that onset time so that many people will start to feel effects in 5 to 15 minutes. For a consumer in New York who maybe is new to cannabis or has been consuming on the black market, being able to offer something that kicks in quickly is such a game changer in the way that they can use it. Or things like we were mentioning, optimal formulation, finding a low dose product for calming away sleep, or a sleep gummy. We offer ones for both falling asleep quickly or staying asleep, which are two different formulations that will have an issue with one or the other, or you can take them together.
Yeah. Is that a question that you get a lot from your customers asking, like, is it okay if I take these together? How do you kind of handle those kinds of things?
Yeah, and because of the homogeneity of the products, you can cut them in half or in quarters, and you'll get exactly a half of the dosage or a quarter of the dosage. So oftentimes when you're stacking products, we would say, don't take a full of each, especially if you've been using just one on its own. Try and cut them in half or a quarter, stack them together, and then build your dose over a couple days until you find what's working. As with everything, we want to go low and go slow. And because the gummies are perfectly homogeneous, always cut them into pieces, stack them together. But those different blends of cannabinoids and terpene profiles can really complement each other for distance. It's nice to put a fast-acting edible with a classic-acting edible, so it takes effect quickly. You can last for 68 hours. If you're in pain, you want that to go away quickly. But then you might want that effect throughout the rest of the evening, so that you're not needing to take things.
Right. Yeah. The last thing you want to do is, an hour later is that, knee pain is back and you're back to square one.
Right. Exactly.
And so how does, beverages fall into all of this? We're starting to see a lot more cannabis-infused beverages on the market.
Beverages have long been something we've looked at and been excited. Humans like beverages. They're just
they are quite fond of them, aren't they?
They are. We like all kinds of them. And they go really well for a lot of the recreational, and I don't mean recreational really getting high, but the alcohol replacement or the relaxation at the end of the day. It's the fact that you can consume one over a period of time. It's something that you're enjoying. It's a very social activity. So you can do it after work, or you can do it with your friends. You can do it on the weekends, and you can have more than one. So beverages are really fun in that way. There's been a challenge within the existing regulated markets is that when a dispensary has a license, they have a square foot space. And unlike a traditional business that says, we're going to take over the unit next to us, the regulators don't allow that. So they're really limited on their space. So all little packages like our gummies, 6 packs of beverages, not so great, and you're limited on space.
Right.
But we've known that beverages are a great way to consume cannabis. So we've been waiting for the right opportunity. And that opportunity has actually been opening up via hemp. So anybody out there who is not aware of how hemp regulations have been evolving, the 2018 Farm Bill has language that allowed hemp products to contain up to no more than 0.3% THC by dry weight. Edible like a gummy, that actually allows for up to about, say, a Wana gummy, which is 4.5 grams, 13.5 milligrams of THC, if the THC was derived from a hemp source. Now, different states have started to regulate that. But there are 10 states that are currently regulating hemp, very similar to how regulated markets have regulated cannabis or marijuana. There's another 17 states that haven't put specific rules and are deferring to the Farm Bill. So that means 27 states, or over half of states, currently have some mechanism for hemp-derived THC products in market. Many of these states are allowing sales through alcohol and bev distributors in liquor stores, sometimes grocery stores. And so all of a sudden you have these stores with big refrigerators and space for them.
Sure.
And so ding, 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 beverages are on the table. So we actually started off with, I flew up to Canada, which obviously has the adult use market across the country there
Very different setup than the US.
with much larger, very different setups. So beverages were actually more ingrained in Canada before our hemp regulations came out.
Right.
And so spend some time in their market trying beverages, seeing what was working, what wasn't working, where were the pitfalls.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with the beverage is that it really delivers a flavor, right? Because your mouth is, it's really kind of penetrating all the different taste buds.
Yeah, it's a different sensory experience.
And that means that these really bitter cannabinoids can make a really awful taste in the product. So it's really key that you're able to cover that up through a great flavor and, really importantly, something that emulsifies it.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned before, cannabinoids are not only bitter, but they're also oily. They're fatty. And so they don't want to be in water. And just like you're shaking up oil and vinegar in a salad dressing, you need to make little droplets of oil, really, really small. The smaller, the better. And particularly in a way that you can encapsulate them to the flavors not impacting your tongue when you're drinking. So we did a lot of research to find our best-in-class emulsion partner. And then we also wanted to say, well, we are a gummy company. We're an expert in fruit flavors. Let's take some of what we learned in gummies and translate that into an all-natural, juice-derived beverage. And focusing on a all-natural lemonade, and all-natural strawberry lemonade, and a raspberry tea.
Ah, how exciting.
They're somewhat San Pellegrino-esque, where it's kind of like a lemonade soda, a strawberry lemonade soda. So they're medium carbonated, and using all natural ingredients, no preservatives, and trying to keep the sugar down well below an actual soda, so that they're refreshing. You can easily have more than one.
Without the guilt of the sugar.
Without the guilt of the sugar, exactly. And then we said, well, what else do we have? Well, we have formulations that nobody else has. We've spent years developing these for our gummy line. Let's build these into our beverages. And let's build them for the use cases we know people like beverages for. So social experiences, uplifting experiences, and times when you just want to relax with friends. So each of the beverages has their own formulation. With the lemonade, more energizing, formulated with THC, CBG, and that uplifting cannabinoid THCV. So that's the one that you want to have getting ready, pre-gaming for your concert with friends. And then we have the social one, which is THC, CBD, and CBG, 5 milligrams of each, the strawberry lemonade. This is the one that you want to have on your backyard patio, grilling out with some friends on an afternoon. And then for the evenings, or times when you want to relax with friends, hang out on the couch, the raspberry tea, it's a low dosage THC with CBG and CBD. It's more like a calming, relaxing formulation. So we're pairing great flavors with great formulations in this new product form that's really delivering cannabis in a way that's sessionable. Different than a gummy, which is great for being discreet, easy to consume.
Yeah, that kind of flips us on its head. This is meant to be seen.
Meant to be seen, meant to be mixed, meant to be, something that you're sharing with friends. So I think it's a really exciting pivot, not just for Wana, but really the industry and for consumers. It's a new, exciting way to consume products.
So where and when can people find your beverages?
So they're available now. Currently, both the beverages and I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but we've taken all of our best-selling formulations in the regulated market space, and in states that maybe don't have regulated markets but do allow for hemp, we launched a new e-commerce website called shopwanderous.com. So you can go to Shop Wanderous. It's Wanderous by Wana, and you can find all of our gummies there, as well as our new beverages. The really cool thing also about Wanderous is that we've worked with some of our trusted partners and friends. So there's not just Wana products. There's actually a whole lineup of best-in-class hemp-derived products on there. So some well-known CBD brands like Charlotte's Web and Martha Stewart's Gummies are available there, as well as
very nice.
Our friends' beverages like Happy and Can. Can is, I'm sure, really well-known to anyone out there who's consumed some THC beverages before. And then even Moon, which has some alcohol-free infused spirits. So these taste like some classic spirits that you may consume, they're designed for mixing. So you can make mocktails and cocktails with THC and CBD instead of alcohol.
Good. We'll make sure we have that link down in the description. So if you're on YouTube, look down below, click that link and go check out their website. Yeah, that's so exciting to hear about that. And just to see the product development in this space over the last several years, it's just, from a marketing standpoint, it's really exciting to see where we're expanding and pushing the boundaries, and then how those products get rolled out to market, and then what the consumers are interested in consuming.
I agree, Leah. And I think we have an opportunity to really expand what's going on with cannabis products. With these new channels opening up, we're going to be able to reach new consumers. We're going to be able to make more targeted niche products for more use cases specific formulations. It's sometimes tough to bring new consumers into a dispensary, but if we can meet them where they're at with products that meet their needs, that are from an all-natural plant, I think we're going to be bringing more and more people into the fold, expanding the pie, and changing more lives with the power of this plant in ways that we've never been able to before. I think we're going to be able to get into a lot more exciting beverages, flavors. We're going to be able to hit other new exciting segments. I know from the research, there's a lot that can be done around women's health. And so we're focused on many different ways that we can formulate for those products for women that maybe weren't walking into a dispensary to buy flower or bud, but maybe we can meet them in a different retail channel or e-commerce channel and show them how beneficial this plant can be to their own health and their own lives. I think we can get to other demographics like athletes, sports, and individuals looking to find better ways to manage pain. I'm in Colorado and love to ski and snowboard. There's something for like getting lifted going up the lifts, and then there's something else for like after, when you're at the chalet doing your operating with the pain.
Right, the recovery time.
And then something to have for sleep, and realizing that this one plant can help us at getting revved up, getting relaxed, and then helping to sleep. So I think there's ways that we can formulate, educate, and share these products with people to help them throughout their life and throughout their days.
Yeah, I think I love that point. It makes me think of just the change in consumer behavior of, I think consumers want more control on a more granular level of what they're consuming and putting into their bodies and their health. And, when you look at, what you're offering compared to pharmaceutical industry, or even just, other taking approaches from like nutrition, I think that when you are able to break it down to these sort of functional areas, people can look at it. They can say, yes, I am suffering from, this element or this thing, or I want this thing better in my life. And there's this product that can solve that, rather than I'm going to take, let's say, pharmaceutical and hope that it's, it's a broad spectrum solution. It may or may not address my issue. But so you mentioned, a lot of partners that Wana has when you mentioned the website. How has partnerships worked into the success of the business and helped with your growth over the years?
Integral. We have really been able to expand into 18, 19, I think 20 regulated markets by finding partnerships with the right folks. So as you may know, in the regulated space, we have to have production facilities in every state. And so instead of opening 20 facilities, we've been able to find partners. This has helped us to be fast, to be agile, and to get into new markets very quickly.
I mean, the operational cost to just establish 20 different facilities would just be...
Exactly. So we have this asset-light way of being able to expand while maintaining the IP and product quality.
Yeah.
And then these partnerships are really important when we talk about shop wonders too. There's a lot of hemp companies that are not doing right by the plant. As some listeners might be aware, the Farm Bill also has left some loopholes on things like synthetic cannabinoids, like Delta 8 THC, Delta 10, Delta 7. And that's not really what we believe in. We believe in the cannabinoids the plant produces. We know that they've been used by humans for millennia. And just because there's a loophole doesn't mean that they should be exploiting it to manufacture new to science compounds that potentially have different byproducts in the chemical reactions. And people are selling them at ridiculous doses of all blends of these synthetic cannabinoids, 3,000 milligram gummies. And they're really not, I think, doing consumers a service. They're doing them a great disservice by creating these products. They're the get-rich-quick schemes, as they might think of it.
Sure.
But really, they're just hurting the industry and hurting consumers.
That's a really interesting point. And that makes me wonder for you guys, if you have to then do some education around that. And maybe you take it from like your products first and not a competitive education. What are your thoughts on how you've decided to address that in the market?
Part of it is just inherently in who we chose to partner with, right?
Yeah.
So we had a strong vetting process, and many of these are, our friends and great connections we've made in the industry over years. People that we know believe in our same values. We were talking about Wana's culture earlier. Before we partner with anyone, we need to see that they have a similar culture and a similar drive and ambition to use the power of the plant for good and to help consumers in that way.
Yeah.
So just by seeing the lineup of products and brands that are represented on our website, part of that education just comes through what we're offering. But then we're also including a lot of education on the website and tending to be providing a lot more there through blog posts and education to help people differentiate between what is a untested 3,000 milligram gummy versus what is a naturally plant-derived product designed and formulated for specific demographics, use cases, days, times, product forms, really a lot more thoughtful and well-formulated, developed products. So it's going to be a heavy lift and it's going to take time. But I think we have a lot on our side. I think this is what consumers really do want in the long term. I don't think there's a lot of people saying, I need more 5,000 milligram products. I think people are saying, I want something that works for me, where I can get a good night's rest, wake up not feeling groggy. I want to be able to manage my anxiety without feeling too high. I think we're really formulating for what people want. In the really near term, as there's loopholes and opportunities, people are going to do what they're going to do. And we want to stand by what we've known and been able to develop in the last 14 years here at Wana, take all the learnings and share that with the wider market.
Yeah, I mean, I think between you've given us so many examples of how to do that, between the partners that you choose, that you're backed by the science, that the culture that you have, all just lends itself to like you're the trusted brand. And if you're whether you're new to this and you're looking to try it, or if you are looking to try different types of products that they can trust in the products that you have put out there on the market. There's so much more that we could talk about, but I'll wrap up with one more question today. And that's, what do you think has been the secret recipe to revenue for Wana Brands over the years?
I think the actual ingredient maybe has changed, but I think the idea or the philosophy behind it, which has been to use the power of the plant to enhance people's lives, has been the secret ingredient. To never stray far away from that. That can mean different things at different points in different product forms. But I think it's a really just shared value of everyone here at Wana of what can we do to enhance people's lives? And I think it really shows in everything we've formulated and everything we do.
Yeah. Stand true to the power of the plant. That's a good, core value to work from. Well, Mike, I appreciate so much you joining us today. Thank you for sharing everything, all the lessons that you've learned through the years. It's been very insightful. I'm sure all of our listeners will really enjoy listening to it and hear Wana's story and your story. So for those that are listening, if you enjoyed our conversation today, please be sure to subscribe, to rate, to leave a review on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or whatever your favorite podcasting platform is. Don't forget to share it with your fellow food and beverage peers who could use a little extra inspiration or knowledge. And stay up to date on future episodes on our YouTube channel, or you can find out more at sinuatemedia.com, or follow us at Sinuate Media on your favorite social media channel. So Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of Recipe to Revenue. Thanks again, Mike. Really appreciate it.